there's going to be a big backlash. There's going to be an anti-AI movement. It's going to be like the French Revolution. People are going to rise up because they're about to lose all their jobs. And when all these data centers get attacked and stuff, I'm safe. I'm still, matter of fact, I encourage everyone to not use AI. That's less competition for me.
This episode is brought to you by Jonathan Keim and the teams at 360 Commercial Roofing and Top Roof Marketing. If you own or manage commercial property or you're a roofing contractor looking to grow, Jonathan has spent more than a decade helping businesses protect their buildings and scale through proven commercial roofing and marketing systems. His companies specialize in commercial roofing solutions, roof asset management, and marketing built specifically for the roofing industry. Whether you need a trusted commercial roofing partner or want to generate more qualified roofing leads, check out 360 Commercial Roofing or Top Roof Marketing. You can go to www.360, like 360, commercialroofing.com, and Top Roof Marketing, www.toproofmarketing.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Jeff Hunter. Jeff owns VA Staffer. He also is just a serial guy. He is somebody that I've been following on Facebook here for a little bit. And Jeff, I've just been trying to get meetings with guys that own VA firms just for my own edification. I need help in this space. And then also I just am like, I'm a fan of anybody outsourcing labor. I just think it's such a cheat code. I don't understand why more people don't do it. So, man, tell us your story. You got a few things going on. Tell us a bit of the business journey.
Yeah. So I've been in IT my entire life. And my last real job, I was a project manager for Philips Electronics, and I started delegating some of my documentation and like the day to day kind of operations to a VA. And actually, um, I remember it was actually about the time when outsourced to the Philippines.com, I think is what it was. It was like one of those websites like that. And yeah, matter of fact, it was Chris Ducker. Yeah. Chris Ducker was the first introduction that I had to like the outsourcing world. And that was probably like 2013, 2014. And um, I started doing really well. And I actually became a top 5 project manager at my company. And out of, I think we were a Fortune 100 company, so like we had like 90 something project managers, and I won like project manager, top 5 project managers, like 3 consecutive quarters in a row. And I remember talking to my boss. He said, "Hey, how are you able to do this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a VA, you know." And when I told him, he thought, "Oh, that's genius." And then, funny story, I got written up for it by my other boss.
So
Right?
you
So
hire at a W-2 role, you hired a VA for yourself to support you.
personally, yeah. Hmm.
Dude, that's actually brilliant, honestly. And I know a lot of people wouldn't do that because they wouldn't want any money coming out of their paycheck. But if it allows you to be a top producer, then it's a slam.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I just went on a bike ride yesterday on my Trek 7.2 that I used with Philips points. Whenever you won these awards, they gave you these Philips points, and you can use them for the Philips store. It's a massive brand, right? So they make everything, and they have partnerships with everybody. And I got a Trek 7.2 bike with the original tires. I still ride it. It's like $1,000 bike that I got as an award once. I got a dryer, and so yeah, I mean, and monetarily wise, yeah, but the real price was just having a life again, and it's so miserable, especially as a project manager. You're working so long, and you're doing so many things. I was managing about 50 to 60 projects at any given time. So it just, and the worst part of my job was documentation. I just, like I'd spent more time doing documentation than I did actually managing projects. And then when I started becoming a, kind of recognized, people started asking me, and yeah, I got written up. But what was funny was, even though I had got in trouble, I had other, colleagues come to me and say, "Hey, what's the secret? What's the trick?" And one of them was like, "Hey, could you help me get a VA?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem." And at the time, I wasn't a VA company. I was just the guy who figured out how to get a VA. And I remember I found somebody, and it was actually a friend of my VA, and I was like, "Yeah, hey, I'm looking for another one for my buddy." And she goes, "Okay, no problem." And they started working together, and all of a sudden, you know, my buddy was like, "Hey, man, this just isn't working out." And I'm like, "That's weird, because this VA is, at least this person is really good." And I talked to her, and she was like, "Yeah, he's not giving me instructions. He's not delegating. He's not, like, he's too busy to tell me what to do. So it didn't work out." And then when I told him, I said, "Hey, man, she told me that you sucked, you know?" And he was like, "Yeah, I really don't have time, and this and that." He goes, "Can I just use one of your VAs that's like already trained, or maybe have your VA train it, and I just pay you?" And I was like, maybe." And then he goes, "Yeah, you could be my like VA staffer." And I went to GoDaddy. I typed in vastaffer.com, had no idea anything about SEO. I was a W-2. Otherwise, I would have called it something different. But next thing you know, it started my little business idea, and I left to pursue that full time in 2016. At that time, I had built a team of about 20 VAs. I started an office in the Philippines, in Makati City, in just, I think that was like December of 2014. I got an office there. And then, I left and did that full time. I went to the Philippines for an entire month, brought my whole family. It was my wife and my 3-year-old at the time. And went from making, big money in the corporate world with golden handcuffs, company car, company phone, company computer, everything, to broke, living with my grandpa, making like negative 50,000 a year.
How long? I'm just so curious because I feel like we're in our first year. We're just like putzing along at 10 placements a month. Like, where did you really feel like it took off? How long did it take, and what happened?
I had one big client, and he, a funny story, this one client, he's moved to like two or three different companies, and every time he goes to a new company, because he does sales, he's like usually like a VP of sales, and he goes to these different companies, and then the first thing he does when he gets to these companies, he says, hey, we need to build out our sales enablement team, and we do lead generation, prospecting, stuff like that for him. And so, funny story, every time he goes to a new company, like we're setting up 5, 10, 15 new VAs. I think the company he is at right now, we have like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah,
And like that one client kind of like gave me the confidence in saying, oh, okay, yeah, this can work.
yeah,
The thing is though, as you know, like it's a very different world with the age of AI, and it's also a very different world in the type of things that people expect people to do now with AI. We first thought, hey, when AI came out, life was going to be so much easier because AI could do everything. But actually, what happened was life got a bit harder because now we're expected to be able to do more because of AI.
yeah.
So, so I've been just spending all my time. I've flown to the Philippines 3 times a year for the past 3 years, building out my AI employee program where basically we have AI tools and software that our virtual assistants are trained to use for the clients that can do their marketing and all the stuff that normally a VA wouldn't do because you can, especially if they're Filipino, you can just tell, you know. But now
Yeah.
with AI, you can create all the tools for them to use, and it's just changed the game.
What is your guys' model out of curiosity? And if there's anything that I ask, because you seem like an open book, but are you marking up the hourly rate? Are you doing placement fees? Are you like, is there a mix of different? Are you white
No, we
labeling?
just
Like
we
what?
just we just have a flat fee. Yeah. So we have a flat fee. It's like $1,000 a month for a part time, 18.99 for a full time. So they get like a discount. Depending on what they need up front, there could be a little bit extra depending on what they need if they have no workflows or things like that. Although that is one of the things that we do is we help them with the strategy. And then we have a whole suite of tools called AI copy tools that does like 33 different things like email, so social media content, emails, webinar scripts and whatever, and the team's trained to use those. And now we have an AI chatbot that goes on their website and all that kind of stuff. Like we're basically training our team how to use all these tools and support the clients because, as you know, I mean, most business owners don't want to play with AI all day. They just want to do what they like to do. So that's basically our model. Is we say, hey, look, you get a flat. Now we do encourage our clients after 90 days to like do a pass through bonus or some sort of an incremental raise. We have clients that have been with us for 10 years. I know you said you got like a little over a year under your belt, but you know if you think about it from our perspective as the business owner, like every year, because we keep giving our people raises and bonuses and things like that. So technically, every year our margins are getting smaller because we're not asking the clients to pay more. So to counter that, what we've done is we've kind of encouraged our clients to hook the VAs up with bonuses, give them raises, things like that are just pass throughs. So it doesn't squeeze our margins. But right now, I'm honestly not too worried about the margins of the VAs because the AI margins are so high. And now, like if you have a product or a service and you don't have some sort of an AI element that's making you money, that should be your number one focus.
Well, so the other business I have, because it's so like the client is the same, is an AI agency, and we do AI enablement. We are doing AI receptionists. We're doing, building custom tools. My partner's a full stack developer, and
Hmm.
dude, it's the same client. I'm flipping him between the AI and the VAs and the,
Right.
like construction guys. Like you can't at the moment, you still cannot take a plan like a PDF plan and plug it into an AI estimation tool and just have it estimate for you. You still
Right.
need a human being to take the inputs and put it into the tool. So my vision is, and I love the blue collar guys, like you mentioned it, those guys don't like to mess around with VA or AI, right? So my vision is the bridge between the AI and the VAs, that the bridge between the business owner and the AI is the VA, right? Who typically are more savvy with that stuff. You can train them on these tools. The really good ones, just like, look, go watch every freaking video on Go High Level in the next week and become an expert on it, and they'll do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's kind of my vision. And it's interesting in the blue collar space, like you could, don't even worry about AI. Like convincing someone to hire somebody overseas is like good luck. You're trying to convince them to do that. You know,
Right.
it's kind of crazy to me. Have you found a niche, or have you found that there's any sort of like pockets or something that have been unique that you really like serving?
Um, we're all
Is it
over the
all
place.
all
And I
over?
guess
Yeah,
the common denominator would just be, busy CEOs and entrepreneurs, founders. That would be kind of like the common denominator. We have everyone from lawyers to accountant firms to uh, marketing agencies to college professors. I mean,
that's cool.
yeah, we have lots. Yeah, actually, I think one of the things that's been kind of wild right now is we've actually been like very, 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 I guess, our screening and hiring has been a lot slower, and a lot more detailed because now we're looking for more AI savvy people. And we've completely redone our hiring process to be more of an experiential. Like we don't even look at their resumes, like we give them a test. Like it's about a 90 minutes. Well, I thought it was 90 minutes, but we were looking at the data and it looks like the average person takes about an hour and no, 189 minutes. So that's more than 2 hours. That's almost 3 hours just to pass our assessment before they even get an interview. So, that screens a lot of people. We get about 300 applicants a month, and we usually try to interview 15 to 20, and we keep 10. And I think out of this training batch that we have just now, that start shadowing, I think they're taking their final assessment this week. We might have like 8 that
Hmm.
passed.
Hmm.
So, yeah, what we found is just if you hire the right people, that solves like 90% of the problem, because like really smart people. We have 3 core values at our company. One is adaptability, the second is work ethic, and the third is give a damn.
Hmm.
And we found that if you don't have all three, it's never going to work. They have to be smart, they have to be adaptable, they have to have strong work ethic, and they have to actually care about themselves and their work. And if they don't have those, it just doesn't work. So most of our process on our interview process, even our recruitment process, is giving them limited instructions, giving them things to do with limited instructions, and seeing if they can figure it out.
The resume just got me on one. Like we had a client that really wanted experience in a certain type of software tool, and it was all about that. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, experience does not matter. What's on the resume does not matter. So I love that. Yeah. What else?
Yeah.
So the AI stuff. So um, how are you? So I love your website, AI plus human VA. I think that you have to specify like human. It's a human being, like. But
Yeah.
how are you?
Well,
How
that's
are you
another
like?
thing that's changed. Like when I first started out, a VA was a Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember when I first bought the domain vastaffer.com, it took me like over a year just to rank, let alone become ranked number one for VA staffer, because there were so many scandals at the VA that every time you typed in VA staffer, it would say like VA staffer blows the whistle on whatever. It's like, oh man. Um, so yeah, so I think, right now it's interesting because fast forward today, when people say virtual assistant, they don't even think about humans anymore. They're thinking AI.
Yeah.
So it's been very interesting. For me, from a branding perspective, it's been kind of cool because VA staffers, like whether it's a human or AI, we're still a staffing agency. We have an AI employee program. It's actually uh, $10,000 if they pay up front for the entire year and they get their own AI employee. And ironically, guess what? My human VAs are the ones who are managing those AI VAs for them. They're helping them come up with their with their strategies. And we have 3 specific AI employees that do like support, marketing, sales. Those are the 3 business functions, right? That
Are
most
those
people
a
know.
proprietary tool that through the software you've developed, or are you using some sort of agentic platform for that?
So we're using OpenClaw, but if you know anything about that, it's an open source platform, and yeah, it's highly modified. So and we built our own platform around it. We actually have. I unfortunately this isn't on Zoom, so I can't bring him on here. But we also have it to where you can actually bring your agent on calls with you as well. So he can come on your Google Meet, Discord, Meet, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams. So it's getting a little bit wild. And actually, we had a call this morning with my leadership team because we're developing out a really solid open claw agent that really does triage for email really well, which has kind of been like the last bastion that people are worried about, because you can create it very easily using these apps for email and even Google and stuff. But there's something beautiful about having the agent who's like it's like a living breathing style agent who actually understands you, and you can do more than just email, right? Like email is just a form of communication. And I think as we start tying things in together and become more integrated, virtual assistants have a lot of competition right now. It definitely is not, for anybody who's watching this, sorry to say, but not the industry I would go into right now. Especially when you have big players coming to me asking if I want to buy their VA company, and they've been longer established more than me. It's wild, but I actually believe that the future is that AI plus human combo, and I think that
Yeah.
most people don't I don't think most people realize, like, the AI is still a machine. And just like a computer that breaks, just like a computer that makes mistakes, just like a computer that needs restarted, you're just seeing the shift from the human doing things to the human fixing the computer that's doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why, I think you probably saw, because you said earlier about the AI plus human thing
Yeah.
on our vastafford.com website, the very first thing you see is a video. It's a video that we made, an ad. I don't know if you saw it, but it's about Bob. And Bob is a character that we created last year. And Bob, he automates his car wash. You know what? Can I share my screen on here? Is that possible?
Yeah, you can.
Let me see. Let me see here. I think it'd be funny for people, especially for those of you, obviously, if you're watching this, my guess is you're probably in the virtual assistant space. So let me open up. I found a tab here.
No, I mean most of the people that listen to this podcast are blue collar guys. Honestly, what's crazy to me, you just
Really?
said that. I saw that Pace Morby sold his VA company, and I get it. Like the $4 to $5 an hour VA stuff, that's going away. Like that's not, that's going to get replaced by AI. But I still think you need a human being to block and tackle for you. Like especially as an executive assistant, like AI cannot put out fires for you.
That's right. And you know what the AI can never do? Care.
And be creative.
It can
Creativity comes from
pretend.
the human. Yeah,
It can pretend.
yeah,
Can you see my screen? I hope you can hear it too. Let's see.
yeah.
All right, let's see if you can hear it.
Operator.
You like that?
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
So that's really the theme of it all, right? The theme of it all is, hey, great, you've automated AI, but who's watching the AI? Who's operating the AI? And funny story, that was the very first AI ad that I ever made, and it went mega viral. And I think it was just the right timing too, because that was when Google VO3 first came out. And when I published that, it was just mind blowing, especially since I'm working with a guy who actually works in Hollywood. He's a video producer, and he does comedy ads for a living. That's what he does. And I actually have been wanting to make a video with him since I met him in I want to say 2019. If you know who Sean Cannell is from YouTube, he owns Think Media. But I went to his event. Sean Cannell and I are friends, and when I went to that event, Gary Vaynerchuk was there speaking, and I
That's cool.
actually and I actually like rushed the stage to talk to him, and I it was like my second or third time talking to him, and he was like, I remember I did something pretty ballsy, and he came up to me afterwards, and I met him, and and when I found out what he did, and he showed me samples. I was like, man, this is so cool. But every single time I wanted to make a video, it would be like, he was like, yeah, we can do this one really cheap, man, like $25,000 to $35,000. I was like, that's cheap, you know. And now with AI, you can bust out a video on VO3 in a couple hours. And now that the technology's come a long way, because back then that was without any types of cloning or characters or any type of you couldn't even put in like a starting frame. It was just like you had to prompt everything. So for that character consistency to look like that, it was really, really hard to do. We took about 5.5 hours just to get the characters right. But nowadays you can pop in Google VO3. Now Omni is there, the new model, and you can bust it out. And so, funny story, that ad right there is responsible for a wait list we had last year for VAs. And that was one of the reasons when I realized, I was like, you know what? Most people don't want to play around with AI. They would love to have just someone who already knows how to use AI. They can
Yes.
put it into their business
Yes.
and just plug it in.
The opportunity for implementation is huge.
Yes.
So I, I actually, I want to merge my VA and AI businesses. My partner wants me to keep them separate, but it's like, it's literally the same conversation. In one breath, I am telling him he needs an EA and he needs to automate his inbound phone calls with AI. Like
So
it's the
so
same thing.
so funny story. I would absolutely keep them separate. I have separate LLCs for both, and your AI company will just become a client of your VA company. That's what mine
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
My AI company sends a big fat check for all the 5 people that work for that company. It's a tax write off, and all that. And the other thing that's really interesting too is if you think about it, much like that ad about the AI operators, like even that's changing. Like I'm actually really excited because one of the guys, hopefully, I don't know when this is going to air, but hopefully I'll have a chance to talk to him beforehand. But one of the guys that we just hired, he doesn't know it yet, but he's not going to be a VA that I assign to my clients, because throughout his training process, my chief of staff, who's been training him, found out he's been doing all of his assignments in Claude Code Terminal.
Hmm.
And I was like, anybody who can figure out Claude Code Terminal, where it's not like a Windows app or what, a Mac app, it's like an actual black screen you type in like the Matrix. Like anybody who can use that natively, like he's someone that I need like right away, you know, because the computer language is really training the humans to understand the human language. I'm sorry, training humans how to use the terminal and how to do computer language is probably one of the most valuable things you could train your team on right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff, what's one thing we haven't talked about that gets you fired up?
I actually am excited about people being an anti data center because I'm building my own. So I actually have a data center here in my office here, and 25 minutes away at my home, I have another data center, and I'm actually building a third data center in Nevada at a property that's fully solar and totally off grid, and has a Starlink and solar satellites. And uh, I genuinely believe, uh, I know that I'm even smiling thinking about how people are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm not Nostradamus. I just see it coming. There's going to be a big backlash. There's going to be an anti AI movement. It's going to be like the French Revolution. People are going to rise up because they're about to lose all their jobs. And when all these data centers get attacked and stuff, I'm safe. I'm still, matter of fact, I encourage everyone to not use AI. That's less competition for me.
Um, that is that's cool. Yeah, the data center thing, it's interesting. They just shot one down in Colorado, and
Uh-huh. They're getting
you
shot down
know,
everywhere. So the
yeah,
cost of AI is going to go up. So
cause of A's. Yeah, I think I saw an article recently. I'm seeing articles left and right about like oh, we fired all these humans and it's actually more expensive for tokens to actually use the tokens for Anthropic or, OpenAI or whatever.
You want to
So
see something I got in the mail today?
yeah. Was it your token bill?
On the drive here to my studio for this interview,
Uh-huh.
I need to get rid of. Let me find. I don't want to have sensitive information on here. Here we go. Yeah, we got rid of his email. So on here is Asus. You know the brand of computer Asus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been building out this other data center, and I really want to have. So one of my friends, one of my colleagues, I should say, he works at NVIDIA. I'll never say his name because he never wants to be mentioned, but he's actually one of their chief AI people. And he told me, dude, you should just get a GB300, which is the newest. Like, if you've ever seen the DGX Spark, I have 5 of those. They're the GB1, they're the GB10s. They have a GB300, which is a massive 798 gigs of RAM, massive unified memory. It's just a beast. And I actually just got my quote back from them for, here it is, $99,000.
Yikes. Goodness gracious.
$99,000 computer. And the funny part is, my developer is like, he's like, he's the opposite of me when it comes to being. I'm a very opportunistic person, and he's a very pessimistic person.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's already written this off. He's like, well, hey, it's only $99,000, sarcastically. But I will tell you the truth. In my mind, I actually thought the same thing. Oh, it's only $99,000, but optimistically, that's how far apart we are in this planet. What this thing will be able to do is absolutely insane, and I would never have to use Claude or OpenAI or whatever. Like, I could run massive models, and the technology is getting better. Actually, I have right now, in this distribution, this data center that I have here at this office, which is a stone's throw from me, I have a server cluster that has 3 of the highest consumer grade computers you can get. And I say that on purpose, not commercial grade. What I've learned in running agent systems is that those commercial systems are easily flagged as bots, but not consumer grade equipment. So right now I've built out a cluster of 3 server nodes that they already have the capacity to have 53 AI employees on them running whatever, Hermes, OpenClaw, whatever. Right now we're using OpenClaw. That could change, but we have that, and we have our own 5 DGX cluster of actual GPU servicing these, which means I can be completely offline except for one connection, and all of the AI will work. And technically, it could all be offline as well, as long as it's on a local network. But what's really interesting is this dichotomy between the AI employee, who's getting more valuable and learning more, and the traditional VA, who's becoming less and less valuable because of the amount of things that these other AI systems can do. You have to imagine, every time the AI is trained to do something else that the human used to do, it makes the human less valuable. So this is why right now, and I will say this right now, if you're an artist that does graphics or video editing, watch out. If you're in a call center, you're already screwed.
You're toast.
It,
Yeah.
like there all these there on estimate, it looks like Goldman Sachs and these other McKinley and all that, they're saying that right now about 30 to 40% of the world's jobs are already being done by AI, and within the next 3 to 5 years they will be completely done by AI.
Was talking at a party with somebody who runs the Schwab call center here in Colorado. They have 2 huge headquarters here. And they basically said the only reason we still have humans is because people want to talk to a human, but I think eventually that will change. And they literally just read a chat GPT from their screen that pulls from the live transcript and says, oh, a Roth IRA is this. You can put up to $7,500 a year. Like, that's literally what they're doing. They're just sitting there reading an AI script. So yeah, I'm with you there, 100%.
Well, it also, I don't know if you know who Jonathan Mast is, but I just recently did a debate um, we called it the Great AI Debate. We had it at Harding University out in Arkansas, and I was the pessimist, or as I like to say, the realist, talking about the future of AI and how it's going to decimate the job market. And he was a very optimistic person. And of course, I lost the debate because I'm in an AI room filled with people who are opportunistic that see AI as a massive opportunity. And why do Americans and Western countries see AI as an opportunity? Because, like what you just said during the introduction of this call, why wouldn't more people be outsourcing labor? And now it's the ultimate because the AI can run 24/7. It never complains, it never quits, it never poaches your clients, it never cries or has a baby. Now, to us in the Western world, it's like we're just given this perfect storm to finally have a full profit margin. And that's how it looks for most people. And I don't think that Americans, especially, realize the impact that this is going to have in the Philippines, in
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan, in Lahore, in Singapore, in India, where even the developers, like, I mean, seriously, like, if you're a
Developers
developer
are
right now,
cooked. It sucks. Yeah, developers are
you're
cooked.
actually in a decent spot because at the end of the day, like, this is what I've learned by having my own developer, and you have one too, is that the AI is very confident in what it can do, and but I've found very quickly that it doesn't always do it right. As a matter of fact, it hardly ever does it right. And having a developer who knows what it's supposed to look like, you know what I'm saying, is very important. Otherwise, I guess a comparison would be, uh, you think that the friggin' AI is amazing, and you don't know personally because you're not amazing. So you turn into one of those parents of those, American Idols, where it's like, yes, you're an incredible singer, and they get up to the judges and they bomb because they've never been judged by a real person before.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
Jeff, I'd love to have you back on to talk more, man. We talked about a lot. Where can people find out more about you if they wanted to learn more about your business?
Uh, jeffjhunter.com. I've got links to all my stuff on there. And if you guys are looking into the future of AI and VAs, I'm glad you guys tuned in. Really honored to be here, Andrew.
Yeah, man. No, I'm grateful you took it. I don't know, man. The getting in with all these blue collar guys, watching how they mastermind and go to conferences, and I'm like, bro, why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing something like that? When I was a financial advisor, that was all I did, and there's nothing new under the
Yeah,
sun. And
right.
I never, dude, never run into any other staffing firms. Like we just lost one, but that was the first one in a couple months to another firm. And most of the time when we're talking to these guys, it's like the first time they're hearing about it. So I have to think there's still so much opportunity out there. We're not on top of each other. And if we can help each other get better and adopt a tool, two tools here in this case, that everyone should be adopting and create freedom for people, like why wouldn't we band together on that?
I
So,
agree. Especially since, like, I'm at the point now to where, like, I'm not focused on the margins on the VAs because I really believe that it doesn't matter what business you are, there's some sort of an element of AI that can help you,
mhm,
whether it's marketing, right? Every single plumber needs
mhm.
marketing, every single roof company, every single poop scooper,
Yep.
like, everybody needs good marketing. And that's why I think, like, if you're a VA watching this, right, like, now's a really good time to assess, like, am I really upskilling? Am I really, and if you're a business owner, are you upskilling your team
Mhm.
are you doing, right now is a really good time. This is my closing thoughts here, Andrew. Now's a really good time to look at what you're doing and why.
Yeah. I've probably had over 20 or 30 guests in the last few months, and only one or two of them were like, we're obsessing on how to be found on large language models, which surprised
Mm-hmm.
me. I would think
Mm-hmm.
if you are like remotely care at all about, marketing and your visibility online, you would be obsessed with how to get found on AI search. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, here's the other thing too. Like, it's almost, especially if you are a staffing agency, like it's kind of like your responsibility,
Yeah.
to be found.
Yeah.
And I used to, I actually used to have people in my network and my clients and stuff that would say like, yeah, but you know, I don't need to build a brand, or I don't want to build my brand. I'm like, that's a very selfish thing, believe it or not. Building a brand is one of the best things you can possibly do, because right now it's only going to come down to two things. Anybody can do anything with AI now, pretty much. And it's going to come down to two things: your brand trust. Do people actually trust the brand? And your distribution. Can you actually reach enough people to make an impact? And that's
Yep.
really what it's going to come down to. Everything else is going to be commoditized.
Yep. I love it, man. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on
You
the show.
bet.